Well, I'm Trish from Northern Indiana. I found T-Tapp 9.5 years ago when I was whining to a friend at my church how what I was doing was not working. I was working out an hour a day and not losing a thing. And she says, well, I don't know if you'd be interested, but I do this thing called T-Tapp, and I've lost 15 inches in 3 weeks. I'm like, okay, I'm listening. I hated exercise videos. I hated them. I now own, I think, all but the Maxi Maxes. I'm not up to that level yet. So I love this so much, and it changed my life so much, I became a trainer 4.5 years ago. Now think about the irony of that. I hate exercise, hated PE, and I become an exercise trainer. God definitely has a sense of humor, but I love what I do. I love T-Tapp. I love to encourage women. I get the best of both worlds. I get to use my gifts of speaking and writing to explain things that sometimes I have no idea how I did that. It has to be God, because I'm just looking at this going, how did I know to say that? But it's because of Teresa, because of you, and the wonderful forums. As Jesse mentioned, the forums were my lifeline, because it was kind of before Facebook really became well-known and big. And I still love the forums. I know they're not as active, but there's a lot of information there, ladies, that you can find a whole lot easier than you can on Facebook. And if you don't know how, ask Jessie and me, and Mary Ellen. She's really good there, too. And, you know, this last year has been, I went from a size 22, if you don't know my story, all the way down to a size 4, actually, which was too thin for me, leveled out at a size 8, which is where I like to be, but I'm probably more like a 10, 12 right now. Menopause does that to you, doesn't it? But, you know, T-Tapp through it all has been the constant that I don't have to kill myself. I have adrenal issues. I'm hypothyroid. So it was no wonder working out an hour a day was not getting me any results, because I was stressing my body. But I can do T-Tapp. I can just do a few moves of T-Tapp and feel well and keep from just continuing to balloon up with the hormonal issues. This last year was going to be my year to go see a functional medicine doctor, kind of get the hormones leveled out, be a little more consistent with my eating and that. And instead, in the middle of May, life threw another curveball. My husband ended up having to go into open heart surgery on my birthday in June. That was kind of surreal. I was in the same hospital I was born in 54 years earlier, with my husband getting a new lease on life to get a valve replacement. Obviously, life was a bit crazy during that time. There were no workouts. There was no worrying about eating healthy. It was just eat something, because my tendency now, instead of stress eating, is to just not eat. And that's just as bad on your adrenals, in case you don't know that. And so I just made sure I ate something 3 times a day. And yes, I did have chocolate, too, because you have to have chocolate. That's just a food group, especially when you're stressed. But, you know, there was, in the elevator, curl my core up against the wall to get that lower back pain from sitting and standing for so long. Because, you know, when you're standing over a bed, or, you know, just standing and waiting on doctors to come in and out, sitting for long periods of time through the surgery, and then the week following that, and then just this stress of everything went well. But everything can go well. It's still a major surgery, right? I mean, yes, it did well. It was textbook perfect and all that. But you still have a recovery period. Things are much different when your husband, who's a go-getter and just doesn't know when to quit working, is now home all day long. And then you still have to be mom to the 9 children who are still home. 4 of them, adult women at home, and can you imagine the dynamics of that? And they're all going their different ways, and I have one graduating who's ready to take on the world, and they're processing. I wanted to take about a month off from being mom so that I could just focus on what was going on right then. So due to the stress and all that, I literally ballooned up, probably another size. And I kind of expected that just because of my adrenal issues. And there was a few dark moments in there too. It was really hard. And I actually have a very good friend that I met through T-Tapp, and she actually helped me with some perspective on some of those days. Lots of texts flying between us because, you know, I couldn't really process it with my husband, bless his heart, because he was processing, dealing with going through the surgery and the recovery. But just being able to be the wife and mother I needed to be, and T-Tapp was a big part of that, because again, there were no workouts. I mean, I had my poor online class. Jesse and Mary Ellen really helped keep them going, because I just couldn't really be engaged with that. But I could do the broom warm-up and then watch it literally melt about half a size off my body in 24 hours because I shed fluid, because it is so lymphatic. And that's the beauty of T-Tapp, and that's, I believe, why it helps us with our body alignment, but it also helps get that junk out. And I think think that includes our junky emotions, so we can process the things that are happening. We're not running away from it, we can't, but it helps us to process that. And the last few weeks have definitely, since that workout, and literally, I did the warm-up and I think broom workout too, the little walking workout, and just stepping would be good for me. And it was amazing how much my mood elevated, my emotions settled down. And I felt like I'm going to be okay. Because I'll be honest, there were some times that I wasn't too sure. And it is so good for me to be here this week. This is so healing for me.
It's good to have you here.
Yes, I love you. You're a sister to me, and I love my T-Tapp family. And you ladies encourage. You tell me how I encourage you, but you encourage me too. I just want you to know that I read all your stories, and I might not have the names and which story together, so I'm sorry if I don't get you guys straightened out. But you're just all my sisters and brothers, and I just love you dearly, and I'm so grateful to be here. Thank you.
Thank you, Trish.